told you guys that the rocker arm came loose, creating a tapping noise. Obviously not good for the valve train. And I explained briefly what the problem was. Well, I want to give you a little bit of a tech tip, instructional, whatever you want to call it, to help some of the people out there that have a lot of questions about this, because I always get the same question. I'm adjusting my rocker arm, everything's fine, and all of a sudden it gets loose again. I'm constantly readjusting the rocker arm. Well, there's a number of reasons why, but I think for the small block Chevy crowd, I think this is the #1 culprit for a majority of the issues here. Here you have two different styles of nuts that hold down the rocker arm. You have something like this, which has a keyway in there to physically lock the nut to place. Then you have there's a certain terminology of this bolt, and I'll put it someplace or any place else here. And this is basically a self-locking nut that has like an oblong bolt on top. So when you screw it down to the pedestal, it locks itself into place. Well, in my case, I reuse the factory nuts from the old rocker arm setup for the new rocker arms, primarily for convenience, because if you use these poly locks to get up into here, it's hard to adjust while in the engine. So it's just convenience, and for a moderately can that's in this and the setup is in here, these type of nuts work just fine. But they do wear out. So God knows how many miles are on these nuts. And I want to give you an example of what to look for. Very simple. Take the rocker arm off. You see where the stud is over here? Place the nut on there. Take your wrench and simply turn it. Now, do you see how easy, after it's past the part where the oblong part of the bolt is, it's already past that, and I can still turn this relatively easy. I mean, super easy, where it bottoms out and that's it. Look at how easy that is. I'm just, okay. Now, over time, this is gonna, from the vibration of the engine and the rocker arm is going up and down, it's just gonna work its way out. And you got a loose rocker arm, which will cause all sorts of havocs in your engine. Now, I want to show you with a good locking nut. Well, it's going to hard to convey that what it's going to feel like, but I'll show you the resistance. So I'm going to take the new one, put it on. Now it's right where the locking mechanism is, or the oblong, or the indentation. And you can see how tight that is. And that's what you should be looking for. All these bolts should have that same resistance in them. Now you can remember, you take these on and off enough times, they're going to wear out and you're going to have to replace them. That's why people like the poly locks, because you never have to worry about that. But for these cars and for this setup, for now, this is what I'm going to use for convenience. And another great tech tip is that when adjusting the valves on these small block Chevys, a good indication if you're having a problem or if you're in the right ballpark across the board of all the valves is that all the thread counts. See the top of the thread should be approximately even. So say for instance, if you have a wiped out cam, this is going to be more threads. Vice versa, if you have other problems with the valve train, you're going to see a variance between the thread and the nut from valve to valve. But yeah, quick tech tip. I figured I'd give you guys an update. I'm going to go ahead and change out all these nuts and get this car back on the road.